Are we live here? All right. All right, we have a very special guest today, and this is Memorial Day, and we're at our healing center here in Orlando, Florida, and we have a decorated Recon Marine here. His name is Jeremy Henderson, and I feel very fortunate to have a guy like this in my presence, not only on Memorial Day, but in general, because a guy like this usually doesn't do any interviews. It might be too soft, kind of, for a guy like this. And, I'd like to just thank Jeremy for his service. And on Memorial Day, I'd like to ask him right off the bat, because I think Memorial Day is one of those days that is a little bit confusing. Veterans have been in this cancel culture, so reality and his perception is going to be a lot different than a lot of people's. So it's real important to get his perception on Memorial Day, and so that people understand it. Because if you're not hearing it from a guy like this, you're probably not getting the full spherical knowledge of Memorial Day. So Jeremy, can you go over what Memorial Day means and what why it's important?
Sure.
To acknowledge and observe.
Memorial Day the history of it is from World War II, and it was to have a day of remembrance for all of the American lives that have been lost in combat, in training, and just in general. A lot of people see it as a day to cook out, barbecue, and be with family, which is always great, but it's primarily to remember the men and women and the sacrifices they made for our freedoms. It's all about remembering, because if you forget your history, you're going to repeat it. And the history of Memorial Day has been lost, in my opinion, because a lot of people just see it as a day to cook out. They get a holiday at the beginning of summer, and it's just, to them, it's just a day to cook out and hang out with family, which is not a bad thing, but it's actually a very solemn and sober day, because you're remembering those that didn't come home. And I have lost brothers and sisters, and I understand what it's like. And Memorial Day for me is sacred.
Yeah, and could you talk about your background slightly here? You're a Recon Marine.
Correct.
And could you kind of fill someone in on exactly what that is? And
Reconnaissance Marines are the ones that nobody sees. Nobody knows we're even there, because we're doing deep infiltrations and limited engagement unless absolutely necessary. But our job is to go where others can't and won't. And it's typically, we're out there by ourselves. We've got support, but we're on our own. And they also call us a jack of all trades, because we have to be able to do anything. We have to be completely self-reliant. We carry maximum firepower, because our job is to create hate, discontent, and chaos. We get tasked with all kinds of things. We get tasked with the things that, before other groups go in, we've already been there, and they typically don't even know we've been there. And you have to be quick, swift, silent, and if necessary, deadly. And you just have to, you do the job. You do whatever you're tasked to do, and you have to be multifaceted. There's not a whole lot that we can't do, from jumping, airborne operations to waterborne operations, diving, combat diving, where you're infiltrating. We get into places that others wouldn't even think about going, and we do it with a smile on our faces, because we're just a little bit off.
Okay.
We're the crazy quiet ones.
You guys are definitely highly trained, qualified
very.
individuals, and you had said that you had 6 or 7, 8 different skill sets in terms of plotting down, whether it's
because we cross train so much, we can do each other's jobs, and you got, whether it's communications, whether it's you're dealing with long range weaponry. We even we'll sneak into places and light a target up so they can do a bomb run, and they never even know we're there. But you've got to constantly, because you get information, but you don't know exactly how it's going to turn out until you're in it. And once you're in it, you just got to deal with it. And that's just the way it is.
Do you have any stories you'd like to tell? I've heard so many good stories. I'm not going to put them on the spot, but I heard like a lot of cool stories. The sniper story is pretty cool, I thought, but because I know that in the movies they kind of they make it look so.
It's completely different. It's one of the toughest schools you ever go through. A funny story. Just as I was getting out, I got tasked by the company gunnery sergeant to take a group and do what they call opposition force, or Op 4. It's a training exercise where we're the bad guys, and they gave me a bunch of they weren't all Marines, but most of them weren't infantry. They were anyway. So I get tasked with this, and I'd already turned in all my gear, all my field gear, so I had to get reissued gear, and I wound up getting a letter of commendation and a letter of reprimand for the same action. We wound up taking over 3 machine gun positions. We stole them. I stole I didn't steal, I appropriated the regimental commander's Humvee, and I got into the command and control and actually stole all the hardware, because they had this is like when they first started out with the field computers. Yeah, I got that, got all his stuff, and stole his Humvee, and we actually wound up kidnapping 3 officers, and it was great.
Wow,
and
wow.
This exercise was supposed to go for 5 days. They shut it down on day 3 because everything that I'd done. We even took over the artillery battery, took out one of the guns. They were not happy. And when the regimental commander called me up to get my letter of commendation, it wasn't this big thing. It was in his office, and he goes, "You also got a letter of reprimand in there." He was like, "Because you embarrassed the hell out of me." And I was like, "Roger that, sir. What else can you do? I was doing my job." And he was like, "I'm glad you're on our side." And I was like, "I was being nice."
That's the word. Thank God you're on our side.
Yeah. Well, it's a total different type of mentality, because when you're in that environment, it's life or death, and you don't have the luxury of being nice. You don't have the luxury of, you have to make instantaneous decisions, and a lot of times you're choosing life over death. And one of my own personal things was, I don't care what happens, I'm coming home. Period. I'm coming home. And if I make it home in a body bag, so be it. I did my job. I served my country.
Let's talk about that, because the attitude of you're going to make it home, you're going to make it no matter the circumstances.
Yes.
You have done this.
Yes.
And you have all the injuries to even prove it too.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen the different.
My elbow,
the back, the knee, the ankle, the other arm.
Yep.
Severe injuries. people have basically no clue what you've been through. And,
it's a mentality. I mean, you learn how to deal with, the changes to your body, especially, it's out of your control, but, it's a mental thing. You've got to have the wherewithal and the personal inner strength. And a lot of times, you're dealing with, and if you don't have a good support system, it makes it even tougher. I've got an outstanding, wonderful, beautiful wife. I've got good friends, guys like you that I surround myself with that keep the positivity. Because if you lose that, it affects you even worse. It really, it'll mess with you bad. I mean, because your body's in so much pain all the time, and
and inescapable.
Yeah, I mean,
for years, the rest of your life, essentially.
Exactly, and it's whenever I first got out, they were throwing a lot of pain pills at me, which didn't help. I mean, they helped, but that even messes with your mind, because you've got all these chemicals running through your body, and it affects your mental health, because because what you wind up doing a lot of times is you feel good, or you think you're feeling good. It's because you're chemically altered, and you wind up doing stupid things. You hurt yourself, you can hurt other people. So I don't like pain pills. I don't like them. I do meditation. I do therapy. Homeopathic, natural medicating. I stay away from chemicals. Because I don't like the way they make me feel.
And this this is a pretty big topic right now, just PTSD. I've had PTSD at a smaller level, much more than yours, but I've had some instances, and people's perception is different. Someone could stub a toe and act like they're a Recon Marine, and then there's the Recon Marine that's getting flipped over in a Jeep, shot at, had to kill people. And that's the PTSD that a lot of the veterans are suffering with out there. We know a lot of veterans here in Central Florida and in different states, and PTSD is something that it's
no joke.
Serious, and it's very prevalent through the veteran community.
Yeah, it is, and like you said, there are different levels. Whenever it took them a minute to diagnose me, and it wasn't because of anything other than that it was such a new field. Because we used to call it, from World War II, shell shock. Guys come home, they don't want to talk about, because for the longest time, I didn't know how to talk about it. I didn't really know what was going on in my own mind. And, people talk about, well, I have nightmares. No, I didn't have nightmares. I had night terrors. From being asleep and start having a dream and going through something that, I'd already lived through and done, and it is so real in my mind, that my wife has actually literally physically had to lay on top of me and wake me up, as gently as possible, because I've almost literally thrown her out of the bed, because because in my mind I'm back there, or if I smell something or I hear a sound, up until this past year, I couldn't enjoy fireworks, and I love 4th of July. Yeah. That's one of my favorite holidays. I love 4th of July more than Christmas. And Memorial Day, that to me is a very solemn and somber day to remember, fallen brothers and sisters. And, it's dealing with PTSD is an ongoing thing. It never really goes away. Some days are better than others. And when I'm having a bad day, I stay away from everybody. And it could be the way I wake up, and you know, I will start off just having a bad day, and I don't want to be around anybody. I mean, I've got dogs, I've got a beautiful wife, and I don't want to be around anybody. I'll take a long walk, go down to the river, go to the lake, and just sit and just to get myself back to center. It's something that happens. It like I said, some days are better than others, and some people I've known, for them, it is almost crippling because they don't want to be around because sometimes we just don't know how to explain.
Turn it off, basically.
There ain't no turning it on, turn it off. It's either there, it's either you're having a good day or you're not. I mean, because it's always there. There's always something there to remind you. It brings up, and it depends on the intensity. The intensity of the memory, the intensity of the situation.
And let's talk about therapies, right?
Right.
I know your wife's a massage therapist.
Correct.
She uses oils.
Natural.
We've done Tai Chi together.
Correct. Yes.
And you've tried our sleep technology.
Love it.
And
I can tell the difference.
Some of the therapies that you try to help reduce pain, reduce some of the complications just with dealing with injuries, dealing with poor sleep sometimes, dealing with
my sleep's horrible. I mean, I might, if I'm lucky, I might average a total of 4 hours of sleep in 24 hours, maybe, and even then it's not continuous. The different therapies, like with your sleep technology, that has helped me a lot, because I can actually feel my body when I wake up. When I get up, I feel more rested because that negative field, that neutralizing all the chaos, that my body produces, keeping that and getting that back to a level and manageable area is outstanding. Yes, my wife is a licensed massage therapist, and she whenever she and I met, I was in a really, really dark place in my own heart and mind, and she got me out of it. She helped me with it. She helped me to put up that good fight and to fight those demons back. Sometimes they still raise their head, but because I have her love and compassion, that is the biggest therapy. I've tried talking to counselors, and the ones I've been exposed to, with the exception of one, have no concept. They're trying to console you, but they've never been anything like it. They have no idea, what it's like to see someone, killed, somebody that that you've served with, that you've trained and bled with, to see them expire. It changes your whole outlook. And then whenever you have to take life and you know that you're doing it, it's either them or me. And I'm going home. You want to shoot at me? You got one shot. And if it doesn't hit me, you're gone. I mean, that's it. Period. I mean, if you don't have that mentality, you're not going to make it. You've got to have that, being a Marine, they call it a killer instinct. And do I want to do that? No, I don't want to. But that was my job. I chose to be a Marine. I chose to go in reconnaissance. I chose to do these things. And I made the conscious choice to eliminate the enemy. And that was my job.
Wow, this has been quite a lot of great information, a lot of change in perception. I think just kind of realizing, your gift and service to our country, and thank you very much. thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for all that you've done. Anything else you'd like to say for Memorial Day?
Yeah.
People at home.
Please understand, that the vast majority of us made the choice to go into the military, regardless of branch, to serve our country. And we did it to preserve freedom, preserve liberty. And the majority of the time, we will never meet you. I didn't do it just for my family. I didn't do it just for the people in my neighborhood or the people I went to high school with. I did it for my country. I'm an American. I'm a United States Marine. I'm a patriot. I believe in life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I have copies of the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, the amendments, the Bill of Rights, hanging on my wall because I believe in those living documents. I believe in the United States. I don't believe in politics, but I believe in America as one of the greatest experiments this world has ever seen.
Well, I'd like to end it right there. I'd like to say thank you once again, Jeremy.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure if I can ever get you back here, but yeah, this has been great. I've learned a lot, and thank you so much, brother.
Absolutely, man. We'll always be friends. Always. You know that. Yeah, man. My pleasure. Thank you.